Folks, welcome back to Maypole Farm, and the first thing we're going to do is go grab some manure to fill up the BGA. Yeah, and we're just going to crack on with some jobs then. I might not do much more before we sleep. I've finished feeding the cows. I was going to do a bunch of stuff before I slept, but then decided that because we did the bale loading with cheaty time on, I'd skip that. So we might skip ahead to the next day. Options then are sort the grass field out that we've cut, or grab a contract. Wow, that went around the corner quickly. I'm not sure which I'm going to do yet. I'll see what's available in the morning. I'd kind of like to grab a harvesting contract. Harvesting contract I want is not available, which is that grain field up by our fields. Because that'd be kind of nice and convenient. So yeah, this trailer seems to be behaving, which is why I grabbed this one and not the lorry trailer. Which means we can move faster because the lorry trailer sinks, which slows us down. So yeah. I've not gone through and either attempted to fix that yet, looked to see if the latest update fixed it, or looked for a replacement. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck with what we've got on that front. So yep. We are where we are, but we can take a decent amount in this trailer, so that should be fine. The straw is looking a tad low in there. It's passable. It's passable. So we'll see how we get on. They have chomped a big chunk of food out of there pretty darn quickly, which is a little bit worrying. But there we go. I also had an interesting one. I think it was a PC issue. It's incredibly hot. It was possibly that. It crashed whilst I was feeding, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping it doesn't reoccur. So yeah. Anyway, how are you guys doing? If you're in the UK, are you surviving the heat wave? I think we hit a new record temperature in my home office today of 31.5 degrees. It was pretty savage today, and that wasn't with the aircon on. I had to have it off for a bit. But the aircon then just really could not cope with trying to get the room back to a workable temperature. So yeah, not fun. Oh well, I guess we can look forward to more of that with global warming. Does make you wonder about whether we should be looking at investing in solar power. That's something that I kind of wish we'd done at home a few years ago, but we didn't have the spare cash. We kind of don't have the spare cash now, so not a lot we can do there. And in the UK, they had a lot of schemes for solar at home quite a long time ago, but you essentially rented your roof out to a installation company, and you got the solar electricity to use, and then the excess, I don't know how it works in other countries, but here the excess gets sold back to the power grid. And back then they were on quite good deals, I believe, but the company that provided the solar panels got the excess. I think that was how it worked anyway, because it was quite a good deal. Yeah, so it's one of those things. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So I know some people that brought them outright, and probably looks like quite a good deal now with what certainly with what energy prices are in the UK, because it's pretty expensive to buy electricity. Anywho, can't change things. So if I could change things, I would go back to a couple of opportunities I had 20 odd years ago to make some real significant amounts of money and actually make that money. But being someone who's inherently not a gambler, I didn't take the risks. The whole, if it seems too good to be true, it's probably not, kind of rung true with me. And yeah, didn't take the risks and therefore didn't. God, what am I doing? I'm blaming the heat. Yeah, didn't take the risks and therefore didn't make the potentially large sums of money I could have made. But there's no point crying over what could have been. So, right, I think what I'm going to do is hook this up to it's going to be a digestate spreader to one, correct that little mistake, to give us the option. I'm going to head back to the farm. I'm going to top up the cows' feed. I've actually got a little bit in the feed mixer. So I'm going to tip that in, do another load, skip a little bit of time, top it up again, and then sleep. Because we are at the point now where it's a little bit of a faff with how much they eat. So yeah, I'll see you all in the morning. Right, well, it's the morning and we didn't run out of food, which is kind of nice. And I'm just refilling the cow pens. They're using about 1,800 litres an hour. Yeah, 1,800 litres an hour. So what I put in actually would have lasted quite a while. I figure filling them up now will mean that we don't have to worry about them running out throughout the day. So that's kind of cool. We've got about 8,000-ish litres of milk, I think, but I'm going to let that tick up through the day, and I will maybe do an offline milk run because of the trailer issues. So I think what probably makes sense, probably a couple of things that make sense looking at our finances. Number one is jumping in to the biogas plant, and we have a lot of electric charge. So if we enable that, set it to selling, set that to selling, and enable that, and that will get those sold in a few moments. So we'll wait for that to tick over just to get the money in the bank. In fact, we could just speed that up so that it happens a little bit quicker. Go. Nice, 90 grand. Awesome. So let's then we might as well turn that off. Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. And we've used most of the sugar beet now as well. So that's kind of done for now. There wasn't great demand. So let's jump into here. We can, can't remember how you change it to, show stations. There we go. Grain, dry. So it's a great demand for dry wheat. We have none of that. So that's not an issue. So let's have a look at contracts and harvesting. So we've got this barley contract, which is field A2. Which is, with the way they show the segment of the map, kind of hard to spot. But over here somewhere, 81, 80. Can't see field 82, but my eyes are 82, so over there. So actually not that bad. I'm just going to see if... No, let's clear. And try and get a bunch of new contracts. See if it'll give us the harvesting one that we want. Field 23. That is not necessarily the contract we wanted, but could be the contract that we need. Field 23 is just there and it's huge. I kind of like the look of that, Jobby. Let's see if we can ping some more up. 67. That's not the field that we want. 25. That equally is not the field that we want, but is another close one. Lots of spinach fields. 23. 25. 3. Still not the field. That's spinach, no. 67, no. So it doesn't seem to want to give us the contract that I want. So I guess the question is, do we do 23 or 25? 23 is going to yield a lot. And let's keep quite a bit. And we could then bung that in the dryer. Don't know how much the dryer can hold. Quite a bit. So I think we do that one. So let's head over to field 23. I'm going to grab our grain trailer. And we're going to want our baler as well, because we can get a bunch of straw off of this. This is going to become a big jobby. Just looking at the real world time. It's a bit late, but you know, it's kind of annoying that it won't give us the contract that I want, which is that guy. But beggars cannot be choosers, folks. Okay, let's get it harvested. I've not updated moisture system to the latest version, so we're not going to get the full effect of that, but we will be affected by some of it, I guess. Let's borrow the items. We've got the choice again, so... I kind of like that, except the trailer's a bit crud. What trailer's the Vulture got with it? We've got the John Deere S7. Case with the Flegel. Crap big body. Having choice kind of sucks. That might be the way to go. Yeah. Awesome. Right. Now, I think because of... Now, let's see if we do some of the harvesting ourselves. Or does it make sense? Actually, I think it makes sense to put it on course play. So that's probably going to give me a depressing indication of how long it's going to take. But let's set that up. So fieldwork settings. Let's do 3 headlands, starting on the headland. Yeah, that's fine. Basic settings, combine settings, straw swath activated. Yep, you'll be fine. Did it not? Didn't actually generate the course. You dummy. Right. First waypoint, off you go. Yeah, 40 minutes. I'm not going to be finishing that job today. I'll try and finish it in this video, but I'm not going to be finishing this video today. So let's let that run. Get you hooked up to the trailer. Go. You can be on standby. And you can go get the baler, which is now up at the other end of the farm, and I'll get that shifted down or across to the field. So I've jumped back to the field because the combine is already 88% full. So we're going to do the first unload, and luckily we're going to make it around the first headland because the auger reaches beyond the boundary of the field, which is interesting. I guess this can run a much wider header, but you know, we should be okay. We should be okay. And here we go. So we can start the unload process. There we go. Right. So first trailer full going in, and we should be able to get quite a few loads in the trailer, which is good because I've only so I've hooked the baler up to the John Deere, the other John Deere, but I've still got to get it all the way back down here. And then I am going to start the process of doing the baling, although it's kind of a faff doing it whilst it's generally easier to get the headlands cut first. We'll see how we get on. Right. So yeah, back to this guy, and I'll run this down to the field now. And we're up at the field, and I think I'm gonna start running the baler, and we'll see how we get on. And yeah, I don't know how far we'll get through everything in this job, but just because I started recording way later than I should have on a school night. But you know, things don't always work out as you planned to. I actually planned to record a video tonight. Kind of got the urge. So anyway, yeah. There's been some cool mods come out actually in the last few days. One that's kind of interesting. I spoke last time about getting the stuff wrong with the power harrows, and I'd mentioned it not long after the Sky DLC came out that there was a mod that did allow them to work properly, in inverted commas, but it was on itch, not itch. Yeah, itch. It was on someone's itch page. I think anyway, but it's now on Mod Hub. So if you're on PC or Mac, you can now get it because it's a script mod. If you're on console, you're still with the base game behavior, which is as intended. So yeah, that's kind of cool if you want to have those work. I don't know if it makes them work as a direct drill or if it just makes the power harrow cultivate in front of the seeder, because they're still two separate bits of kit. So yeah, and a direct drill is a different thing. So I'm just going to unload that there. I know it's a bit messy, but it will make sense when the combine gets on its up-down rows. We're going to need to lease a bale stacker for these, I think, because it'll be just so much quicker. But it is going to be beneficial getting straw because we are on our last bale, and that's really why I've done this. I'm not so interested in the grain. I mean, getting a bunch of grain to dry will be worthwhile, but and I'm not sure if how moisture system behaves with contracts. We'll have a look at what's in the trailer actually when we go past it and see if it does have a grade associated with it. Yeah, I don't know. I've not done much with moisture system activated, so but we do need to jump in the trailer and head off. So, and yeah, as much as I like the MB tracks, they are not the smoothest tractors in the world, which is why I thought having the case would be much easier. So, and easy is good sometimes, particularly at the moment. Been really, I know I always whinge about being tired, but by kind of midweek, mentally every week I'm really tired at the moment. I think I whinge about that a lot lately. So doing something which is just a little bit easier is kind of nice. So let's ignore the fact that that's falling outside of the tractor. It's fine. And so it's just going in as barley. It's not going in with a type. So I don't know if Oz has been super smart and set contracts to ignore moisture system. I mean, that would kind of make sense because otherwise you get kind of screwed on the contracts. So, which is never a good thing. So let's drop some more bales here because this should be away from where the combine needs to turn. Let's remember to turn the baler back on because you know that helps with making bales. But yeah, we should get a decent number of bales off of here because it's quite a big field. So the ratio is, I think, about 4-1, roughly, for straw to crop. So we're looking at about 200,000 litres of straw-ish, give or take a little bit. It's been a while since I've been super into the numbers, but it's roughly what I remember it being. That kind of order of magnitude, anyway. So it's been a long time since I've done a harvest in FS. So I did set up, I think I've mentioned, another little save. But I've not been doing huge amounts of gaming lately. The hot weather, the fatigue has meant that quite often in the evenings I just kind of veg, listen to YouTube, listen to music, something like that, and yeah, maybe play a bit of Beaver. We're playing with a really cool mod in Timberborn, and so that's kind of been the focus lately, and not so much on the farming game, which probably won't surprise a bunch of you, but you know, it's kind of where we've been with the gaming stuff. Let's go. So yeah, as I said in the last video, next week is probably going to be kind of light on videos, and I've had a bit of a dilemma in that I'm really well caught up currently, and I've been kind of wondering, do I start to preemptively slow down the release so that I can stockpile some, Or do I just keep cranking them out and then go with the fact that there's going to be a gap? And really don't know what's best. Logically, the gap or the starting to spread them out makes more sense, but not so much with Thompson videos, but with the Timberborn ones, the feedback in the comments feeds well into the next video, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. We've got half a trailer full at the moment, so that's fine. Let's just back up, and I'm going to grab all the way across this headland. Yeah. I'm not worried if we don't get every single scrap or straw, because this is free bonus straw, obviously. Well, it's not free, we're working for it. Thanks to Yos. Is it Yos mod? No, this is possibly Loki's Collect Anywhere mod. Not sure which one actually is giving us this ability. It's probably Loki's mod. I would guess. Kind of lost track of the mods that I have installed, which is not great, but you know, it'll be fine. I'm also starting to sweat like a, let's just say a very sweaty thing. Let's drop that out of the back and go again. So yeah, I might wrap it up in a moment and or come back and try and do some more in the morning when maybe it's not so warm. I'll see how much content we've got. What I might do is time lapse the rest of the harvest job. I don't know. I kind of like to get on to doing something productive on the farm and not have this be 2 videos. But equally, I don't know if I'll have the opportunity to spend more time making this into the rest of a video. So I'll see in the morning. I'll see in the morning how we're looking. But I think at the end of this run, I'm going to wrap up for this evening. So I will see you all in the real world in the morning. But for you, it will probably be no time at all. Right, it is the next day, at least for me, not in game. And I have played on a little bit. So it looks like the straw we're getting has some moisture. I don't remember what the moisture limit is. And to be honest, whatever it is, I guess we could check the status of an bale. Owned by you, straw, doesn't seem to be showing any signs. Moisture, yeah, I think it's okay. Anyway, yeah, I played on for a bit just to get some stuff done. The trailer from the contract is now full. I'm going to just keep going. Actually, it looks like we need to empty the combine. So I'm going to pull the baler down here so it's hopefully out of the way. Jump in the 6R. And hopefully we can get to the combine quick enough to get it emptied. Yeah, I figured I'd fill both trailers up first, and then we'll worry about going and emptying them. Because we need to deliver probably at least both trailers worth. And the combine with the baler, the tractor with the baler is going to be in the way. But, oh well, it is what it is. Kind of how it works sometimes, I guess. I was kind of thinking that I might do at least one more contract, and I might do that off camera. So yeah, we didn't get very successfully far with emptying the combine there, did we? I don't know if it's going to wait for me to empty it, or if we come around here. Can we encourage it to empty? Before it starts? No. Okay. Let's intervene, shall we? And there we go. And get this emptied before it carries on. There a decent chunk through the field, which is good. And what I might do is finish this field in the video, and then between videos do some more, and probably take Farm Sim with me while I'm away. That feels like a sensible thing to do. Right, we can now leave you. I can carry on baling and yeah, make some progress. I do need to get a bale trailer over here. I think what I might do is lease one and use the case that comes with the contract to do the running backwards and forwards, because that's free fuel and free wear and tear. Is it cheaty? Maybe a little bit. Do we care? No, and none of you seem to either, which is kind of good, you know. So none of you hold me to any kind of moral standard here, which I like. If the few of you that cross streams and watch both videos, both games, and if you don't, so I'm playing on a somewhat hard map on the Beaver game, and I recently had a period where my population intentionally boomed and then busted, which involved the digital deaths of lots of fake beavers. And that caused some people in the comments, at least one person, sarcastically or not, a little bit of consternation. You know, for me, it's a tactical maneuver. I didn't really put it as such, and it wasn't in this case. It was kind of I screwed up and didn't have enough food for them. But I have, playing in other scenarios in that game, used it as a tactical maneuver. I have grown the population during periods of plenty to get work done, and then during periods of drought, which leads to lack of certain resources, sent beavers off to die, because the colony didn't have enough resources to support the population that existed. And yeah, it was a way for the whole colony to survive, because otherwise it wouldn't have. So make me a bad person? Well, they're pixels in a video game, so no, because I wouldn't do it in the real world. And I guess that's the distinction for me. For me, in a video game, it was a logical decision that if I want to progress this collection of pixels and succeed, some of the pixels need to not be pixels anymore. Yeah, it's kind of like in this game, when people won't test things and get upset that their cow pixels are going to die or whatever because they won't test them. It's like, we'll create a test save and create different cow pixels and test and see what happens. They're not real animals, folks. They're not real beavers. These are not real tractors. These are not real plants. The little animals that we're killing are not real. We watched a bit more Clarkson's Farm, and we got to the episode where they had the person on that was harassing them about, harassing's maybe the wrong word, was expressing concern about when they silage grass, they will collect nests of ground-dwelling birds in the process, let's put it that way. And, you know, Caleb's like, well, I need to cut the silage. And so I want to crack on. And Jeremy kind of was like, well, let's just not do it now. And we've not watched further. My guess is they just wait for the person to leave and then they cut the grass the next day. It's probably what I would do. And I get that, you know, you need to preserve these endangered species and all that. But equally, that's why they kind of have all these set-aside fields and that kind of thing. And there's probably a longer-term strategy where during the periods where these ground nesting birds are nesting, you could probably be employing some strategies to discourage them from nesting in the fields you're going to be mowing at the periods where the hatchlings are still ground dwelling. That's probably a better long-term strategy than going, well, you can't cut your crops when you need to, because farmers still got to farm, folks. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of my 2 cents on that, and I haven't seen the rest of it, but my expectation is they still cut grass, you know, because they still got to make animal feed. So, and yeah, I don't know. It's good. Actually, it's kind of giving me an urge, and I saw there's a Facebook post from Tom Pemberton. I kind of got a little bit of an urge to catch a bit of Tom Pemberton again. Haven't watched him in a long time, but yeah, I'm kind of curious. I mean, they do a lot of grass, don't they? They chop the grass, and you know, a forage harvester is not going to be kind to that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. But yeah, it's giving me a bit of an urge to go watch a bit of Tom Pemberton again. Obviously, because I've not watched it in a long time. I'm pretty sure I'm still subscribed to his YouTube channel, but if you don't watch the videos, the algorithm doesn't recommend them to you. So yeah. There is this whole thing going around at the moment that the British government is trying to change what YouTube is going to recommend to folks. I've not looked a whole lot into it because I suspect it's going to go away. Because so here's my 2 cents on it. You might have seen me chatting about it in Discord when Pete shared some stuff on it. I see it going one of a few ways. Either it'll go away because it's not sustainable in terms of, okay, so let's tag that. It's not sustainable in that the big media, the big companies like YouTube will just not entertain it. They will not want their platform to be ruined. If they do entertain it, people will go to other platforms for this type of stuff. They don't exist at the moment, but people will start to migrate away because people want to choose what they want to watch. People will find ways around it, like VPNs, because it won't be international. It will be national. So me, as a person in the UK, I don't want to watch, you know, the big 4 channels. I want to watch the things I want to watch, so I'll use a VPN to pretend I'm not in the UK, and I'll still get the algorithmic stuff. So I think it's kind of a non-thing. and there's kind of the creator side it affecting us as creators, and only 9% of my audience is from the UK, so, and probably enough of that percentage is tech literate enough that they'll get around it if it exists. So I don't think it'll have a huge impact, because if you want to watch my stuff, you'll just go find it. It'll impact discovery potentially, but yeah, I think it's kind of going to be a non-thing. It's only a proposal at the moment, and I can't see it becoming a thing significantly enough to be an issue. No, I'm not sure. I could be wrong. And if I turn out to be wrong, then, I'll maybe lose like a small percentage of my audience that happens to be the UK. All right, let's just check I'm in the right place. Yes, cool. I'm tipping from the wrong thing. I should be tipping from the other trailer, because we probably want to keep green in our trailer. But anyway, Lavy, folks, Lavy. Because I'm gas banging as I do this stuff. And it's going into the grain dryer anyway. And as I said, I'm probably going to pick up another barley contract, because we've got plenty of the day left, and why not? More straw seems like a good idea, because we can use it in the feed as well, and that'll stretch the hay out. I think hay and silage, to be honest. So yeah, why not? Why not, hey? I know. The jokes write themselves, along with the driving. Oh. Sorry, dude. I've got good insurance. It's fine. I did not remember to take a thumbnail picture, which kind of sucks. But it's kind of par for the course at the moment. So, also, we now have got a moisture. So if we do, I think I've turned off the shortcut for, because I was having a keyboard conflict with moisture system. I can't remember what key I rebound it to. Oh well. Anyway, let's go tip the rest of what we need to tip. So it's 13% moisture. I really need to update moisture system, but someone remind me to do that before next time. No, not you. And lost our tag now because we've been there, which is a bit annoying. But it'll be fine. Right, let's get this tipped. We'll be good. Got a lot of hours on it, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's a contracty job. So, how much do we need to deliver still? 20,030. So, we have about 17,000 litres left. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Gosh. Okay. Seems to disagree with 6,500 to go. Okay. Either my maths was really off, or I looked at the wrong number. Probably a bit of both. Cool. So we got 11,000 litres of barley off of that one. I mean, probably the logical thing to do, depending on if it's going to end up going to the same place. Let's have a look at. Was it field 25? Yeah, because that's just down the road. It is going to the same place, so let's accept that contract. Start tipping. Okay, so not there. Interesting. It's barley, isn't it? Barley to the supermarket. Let's drive out of the trigger and then drive back in, I guess. Then see if it recognizes it as being for... No. Okay. I'm confused and we're wasting grain. So... selling station supermarket. Let's go into new supermarket tag place. I'm just going to save for a second. I'm going to reload it if it actually gives me money for this. Yeah. Right. 1 second. Right, I've reloaded. As that backfired, we're going to tip it into the grain dryer and then go get the other field harvested. Not sure why it wouldn't let me tip that against the contract. Seems kind of weird. Obviously, this will not dry the barley in the sense of moisture system. It will turn it into dry barley, which is a completely separate fill type. Yeah, that's the Caltech mod, which gives us a very high value crop. Now we are in the position where we have access to lumber now because we have the plot of land, so we don't have to faff about like we did before to get the wood to run the dryer, which is good. And we need to get to field 25, which is looks like it's going to be if we head back to where we were and then down the road a little bit. So that'll be fine. I've got to disappear for a few moments. So probably what I'll do is get everything set up, make a start on this field, and maybe come back once I am close to being finished, because we're at a not bad length for a farm sim video. Oh, come on, folks. Yeah, I'll get set up and I'll be back in a bit. Well, while you lot were slacking, I've been busy and got most of this field harvested. And most of what we need to deliver cut. Actually, let me check. It's 25,900 litres. So we might actually be able to get all of that once the combine is past those 2 bales that we've just dropped. And my thought is I try and be a little bit more organized this time and stick what needs to be delivered in this trailer and stick the excess in our own trailer and use that to take that back to the farm. And then my plan is to collect the straw bales off camera. So 25,900. So 25. There we go. So that should be enough to complete the contract in terms of delivery. And I'm expecting that they can fit the rest of what's on the field in the combine. So that should be okay. We've got a nice collection of bales as well in the field, which is awesome. Because I want to collect the bales off the field, I'm not going to complete the contract until I've done that. It shouldn't matter because we're running some cheaty Loki mods. But I'm going to leave them running, and I'll collect on the contracts next time you guys are back here. Yeah, so if I haven't said, I might have, because I've been recording this video now for 2 days, but I only decided this morning. I might not have said in the bit that I've recorded this morning. I have decided to now start spacing videos out to have a regular but less frequent stream of content while we're away next week. So videos are probably going to go to every other day. If you're a pure farm sim fan, that probably doesn't affect you as much, because you guys get a couple of videos a week anyway on a good week. So yeah, probably not a big impact for you guys, because I'm still planning to try and do a couple of farm sim videos in that time period, but just as a heads up, it seemed the more logical thing, because I think I can record enough videos to maintain that pace now through. So we'll see how the recording goes in the next few days. I'm picking the teenager up on Sunday very early in the morning. Well, not very early, but early-ish in the morning from the airport. She's back home from her travels, and that may interrupt me being able to record on Sunday, because well, one, she's going to be coming back very jet lagged, but I also suspect that although she's back very jet lagged, some family who don't want to respect that might want to see her, and they might do that by coming to see us, which will interrupt the flow of my day. We'll see. And I might just be tired, because I think I'm going to have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning or something stupid. So yeah, we'll see. So that might lose me a video. Well, tis what it is, folks. I get done what I get done. I'm beyond the point of stressing about this stuff. There's a gap. There's a gap. It's kind of nice having got into a zen about this kind of stuff. I still stress about having quality content, as quality as the videos that I make anyway. I think the new mic is helping to some extent. I have not worked out the issue with rendering videos on one of the computers that I use to render videos, and at the moment it's the preferred one, because if I'm at home it's upstairs, and as long as I'm not working in the room, it means the heat from it is not affecting me. Yeah, not worked out why I can't use my preferred rendering settings on that, but you know, think I've resolved. I just kind of cranked up the data rates, and it seems to have sorted it most of the time. I say most of the time. Sometimes it hasn't, but I don't know. Some of you, as we finish up, might remember back during, God, I think it was now 2 Prime Days ago, because we've just had a Prime Day recently, I brought bits to upgrade the PC that I do most of the recording and gaming on. And I had some issues when I tried to put everything together, which meant I went back to all of the old stuff. Yesterday I started putting, I still had all of the bits, and I'd had to buy another piece to try and get it all to work, and it's just all been sat in the boxes, because I kind of didn't have the enthusiasm or motivation to put it together, or more to take apart the computer that I do all of my recording on, because you know, that's kind of a problem if I can't record videos. And I've come up with a strategy where I'm going to do as much building of the replacement before I take apart the incumbent. And yesterday I actually finally got around to starting to work on that. Let's go grab you. And that basically meant I put it all back. I put all of the new stuff back together on the motherboard, and brought a really, really cheap cooler for it because the cooler that I actually want to use is on the current system because it's a nicer low profile cooler to go in the small case that I use. Got a new power supply because part of the problem I think is the power supply, which occasionally means it switches off partway through doing stuff. And basically got out of the case. So as like running it on a cardboard box, got it booted up, got Windows installed. My plan is to install all of the software that I need, have everything installed, get the NVIDIA drivers installed, because the issue was with the graphics card and the bridging cable that I use to have the graphics card in the small case that I use. And I had to buy a new one of those PCI, whatever it is, riser cable. That was it. I bought a new one. I bought a better one. But I haven't used any of it yet. So the plan is to get everything set up outside of the case. Before we tip this, I'm going to save. And if it's an issue, we're going to stop and I'll fix it offline. Plan is to get everything set up. Then before I do anything to the incumbent, just take the graphics card out and test it all on the bench, so to speak, sat on cardboard boxes with the new riser cable, the new power supply, just pull the graphics card out of the current system, set it up with the new riser cable, the new power supply, all of the new bits, and just test it and make sure it all works before I rip out the old one. And that will mean that I have almost a complete computer system except a graphics card in the old one, and I might sell it. I might use some of the bits to upgrade the teenager's computer because it's a better CPU, so she can benefit from that. I'm not sure. I'm kind of wondering, I don't think there's a tipping point at the front of this. See if we can not crash this time. Nope, we can't. In fact, we've crashed fairly spectacularly. Look at that. I think what it is it's so hot because I'm transferring the weather across to the game that the tires have just kind of lost a bit of traction there. There's no tipping point there. So let's, as we roll in, hit save, just in case this goes wrong. And then see if it'll let me tip. So we appear to be in the correct place. And it appears to be working now. That was kind of weird. Anyway, this should complete the contract. Job's good and nice. And that, folks, is going to be it. So thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel as always. Between videos, I'm going to collect all these bales up, get the kit back to the farm. We've got another nearly 6,000 litres of grain to dry. So that's going to give us 12,000 litres of dry barley. We've already got wood in there. So that means if we come over here, dry barley, if we can get it dry quickly, we're going to get a good price. We're going to get what's that, about £18,000 off of that. It's pretty darn nice. If we don't get it sold this month, we're going to have a bit of a problem, but it does run pretty quick, I think. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.